Emergency shelter is a huge problem at the moment. In 2015, more than 60 million people were displaced from their homes, and the number and scale of natural disasters is increasing year on year because of climate change and increased urbanisation and decrease in the resilience of people around the world. Because the scale of the problem is so big, we can't just solve this with one solution. When lots of people think of emergency shelter, they think of tents, and most people on the news will see refugees being put into tents. That's really not what we try and do, and it's really a last resort. And the role that we as emergency responders have is to try and enable people's own choices and control over their situation. So, to give some examples, if you ask a Syrian refugee what they want to do about shelter and how they would like to be sheltered, none of them are going to say they want to stay in a tent. They may well say that they'd like to get a job so they can pay rent. And in fact, the majority of Syrian refugees pay rent for what they're living in, even if that accommodation is really quite poor standard. If you asked someone in the Philippines after Typhoon Haiyan in 2013 what they wanted, they'd probably have said they wanted cash or materials so that they could rebuild. And similarly, if you ask women and men how they would like to be sheltered, they will give very different answers, as will children. Boys and girls will both have different expectations and desires from shelter. So it's really important that we understand all those different expectations, those different needs, and are able to support people to make sure that they get safe, dignified shelter after a disaster and in emergencies.